Let's stay in the Big Ten and get 2 time zones over to the Central Time Zone. We'll make our way east and stop in Lincoln, Nebraska, and talk about the Cornhuskers a little bit. They got the 8th best odds to win the Big Ten at 38-1. Again, another win total of 7.5, just like Washington. Year 3 for Matt Rhule. Temple, his year 1, you had 2 wins. Year 2, 6 wins. Year 3, 10 wins. Baylor, it went 1-7-11. Nebraska went 5-7 and question mark, obviously, for 2025. But the key is Dylan Raiola is back for a second year. He was a true freshman last year. He showed flashes. Obviously, against Colorado in a primetime spot as national television. Nebraska's defense had a lot to do with that game, but Raiola didn't lose it. He played pretty well. He showed flashes on a Friday night against Illinois, even though they came out, down. He played well in the horseshoe against Ohio State. But it was a typical just kind of up and down season for your 5-star freshman quarterback. Like, very rarely does a 5-star true freshman quarterback come in and just light college football on fire. So, but he gets year 2, he gets it under Dana Holgorsen.
Yeah, I mean, you just hit the nail on the head, dude.
Hey, real quick, look at the bottom of this screen and hit that subscribe button for us, please. And also follow us on Apple and Spotify. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it helps us out a ton. We greatly appreciate it.
A guy that's a true freshman starting in the Big Ten as a true freshman, then gets his offensive coordinator changed in the middle of the season. I mean, I'm sorry, man. I know that it's kind of become, again, kind of the cool thing to bang on him because of the kind of the antics of the Pat Mahomes and stuff like that. I know that's kind of become a funny thing. The dude's talented as hell. Holgorsen is a really good OC. I think that was a great move by Matt Rhule to make that change there like he did. And I think they're going to reap the benefits of it this year. Having already getting to play a little bit in that system, learn Holgo's stuff there, and then now have the entire off season to be in this system. Got a couple solid pieces in the transfer portal. He's going to have his weapons as well. I mean, question for me, Tony White is a really good defensive coordinator, really good DC. He made, the ATB top 12 defensive coordinator list last year. He's got it built up a hell of a resume. He left for Florida State to be the new DC at Florida State when Florida State did their wholesale fire drill there, hired a bunch of new coaches there. And Matt Rhule hired from within and hired John Butler, who was the passing game coordinator, defensive guy, and defensive backs coach last year. Spent a long time in the NFL, about 6 years for the Buffalo Bills. It's just one of those things. Like, if you believe in Matt Rhule and think he's a hell of a coach, then you just believe that he's making the right hire there in Butler at DC.
What do you personally think?
I like the hire.
Yeah,
I do like the hire. Looking overall at his resume, I don't think you spend as good as the Buffalo Bills were there for a long period of time there. Their head coach is a defensive-minded head coach in general there with the Bills, that you spend as long as you've spent there. And then he was, I think, with the Texans for a while with Bill O'Brien. He was Bill O'Brien's defensive coordinator for Penn State way back in the day when Bill O'Brien took over that impossible situation after all of that crazy stuff with Jerry Sandusky and Paterno. So, I mean, I think he's getting a great shot here to coach for a guy like Matt Rhule. Again, Rhule, man, most of his defenses have been solid ever since he's been a head coach. So I think that'll probably be the same here. But the schedule, man, the schedule. No Ohio State. No Oregon. Would you ever think you'd say this and think it's like a big deal? No Indiana. And no Illinois. Those 4 teams are 4 of the top, like odds on 6 or 7 favorites to win the Big Ten.
In our rankings too.
Yes. And so they don't play any of them. They get Michigan, USC, and Iowa all in Lincoln. So I'll say that if it's not now, man, then when is it? Seriously, if it's not now.
If they don't get above 7 wins, you just start to feel really, really bad for Nebraska fans.
Yeah, dude, that fan base, they deserve it, man. They deserve better than what they've gotten. And if it's not this year, the way that this schedule sets up, year 2 with this talented quarterback, the moves that they've made, if they're not a 9-win type team this year, then I don't know. But again, the magic number, 10-2. We just went over the schedule. I mean, obviously at Penn State on November 22nd, that's rough. But there's no reason at all that they can't beat every other team on their schedule And I'm not sitting here and saying right now today, yeah, obviously we think Penn State's probably a lot better than Nebraska as we sit here today. Them winning at Beaver Stadium in Happy Valley, probably not going to happen. But is that just chalked up as a no way, automatic loss? We saw Nebraska go last year into Columbus and do everything but win that damn game. So there's no reason at all to not sit here and say that it's not possible for Nebraska to get to 10 wins. I think they can.
Yeah, it's a big year for Matt Rhule.
It is. And they're one of those teams, man, right out of the gate. There's a lot of teams this year, first week, because there's so many games that, like, a lot of pressure on a team. I'm not sitting there saying that Nebraska is just feeling a ton of pressure week one. But, dude, you let that game get to the fourth quarter on a Thursday night, an open weekend of college football in Kansas City against Cincinnati, who brings back a ton of people. I know people are like, Cincinnati, they suck. Like, they're not a terrible football team. And
they could win the Big 12 this year.
For
all we know.
Everybody could win the Big 12.
Yeah.
And they bring back a ton, dude. A ton of production, Cincinnati does. So you let that game get tight and some weird things. You start like all those close games that Nebraska's lost over the last few years.
Weird stuff just happens on that opening Thursday game. Like last year, that North Carolina Minnesota game got weird. Like,
Yep. So that's a tricky game right out of the gate. I still think obviously Nebraska wins that game, but don't be shocked if Cincinnati's giving the Huskers a little bit of a game there in KC.